Hi, my name is Micah Wyzlic, and I'm here from Phoenix City Grill. We're going to be preparing a dish today of wild Gulf shrimp and Pima grits. In preparation to showing you how we're going to do that, I brought a few ingredients to show you. These are the Gulf shrimp that we'll be using, a little bit of corn, and the Pima grits right here that we'll be using from Ramona Farms. I prepared some grits in advance just so you can kind of see what they're going to be like. We also have some capers and butter here. I traditionally would use a Palo Verde bud, but I wasn't able to get them, so we're just going to use some regular capers today. White wine that we're going to be using in the sauce, some pickled cholla buds, as well as some barrel cactus seeds. All right, so we're back in the kitchen now. We're going to make this shrimp and grits dish. We're going to start by making the grits and let them simmer for a little bit, so we'll start the process. I'm just taking a little bit of milk right now and putting it in the pot. It's about 2 cups of milk. We're just going to let that come up to a light simmer, and I'm adding to it a couple cups of corn. In season, when it's available, you want to use fresh corn and just grill it and then shuck it. And all we want to do with this is basically allow the milks and the corn to kind of come out and cook, and so that'll just take a couple minutes. And once that happens, I'm going to take it in back to the other side of the kitchen. I'm just going to blend it real quick just till it's nice and smooth, and then we'll return it to this pot and we'll add the actual Pima grits that we got from Ramona Farms, and then actually start the process of the actual grits. So that's just going to cook for 1 second. All right, so we've just pureed the corn and milk mixture, and we're just going to dump that back into the pot. So now we're going to actually make the grits. We're going to add the Pima grits in now. It's about a half a cup of grits. And we want to just cook this over low heat, and they're going to cook for about 10 or 15 minutes until they get nice and thick, and then we're going to finish them up with a little bit of butter, cream, and some cheese. And while those are cooking, we're going to go ahead and make a few other components of the dish. So I'm going to work on making the caper butter sauce now that we're going to put on this dish. So basically I'm going to start with about a half cup of, I have rice wine vinegar and some finely diced or minced shallots, and about a quarter cup of Chardonnay. And we're just going to turn that on high and basically reduce that down until it's almost dry. We call it au sec, but basically till it's almost dry. Get that started. And put a little seasoning in the grits while we're waiting on that. Again, just continue to stir these grits. So again, we're just going to let this reduce. This will take a couple minutes, but we're going to let that reduce down, and then after that, we're going to add some whole unsalted butter to it, and then we're going to finish it with regular capers like we talked about earlier in the segment. Like I said, I really wish that we could use the Palo Verde buds in this, but I just wasn't able to get them right now. I'm going to turn the grits down a little bit. They're getting happy back there, but I want to be careful that they don't cook too fast and we avoid scorching them as they start to thicken. So when we get ready to, we're going to add whole butter. I've diced it up small and a little bit larger than pea size. It'll just help incorporate it quicker, and it'll help make sure that it melts at an even pace, and that'll help the sauce be emulsified so that it doesn't break or get greasy, basically. I'm going to go ahead and add in a few of the capers. Now that this reduction is almost dry, I'm going to add them in now, and I kind of want to let them dry out and get a little bit toasty. It'll just give them a little more texture, add a little crispiness to them. So this pan, you can see now, is almost completely dry. I'm going to take it just a little bit further. We want to leave just a touch of moisture in it. And I'm going to take that off the heat. I'm going to add a little bit of heavy cream to it, just a couple tablespoons. And it's going to do a couple things. It's going to cool the pan down just a little bit, but also it's going to help to emulsify the butter and keep it from separating. I'm going to add just a little teeny bit of salt and pepper right now. And then we're just going to slowly put in a few pieces of butter at a time. And we'll kind of just move the sauce, the pan around, just let this incorporate. It's a noisy sauce, sorry. This a quick stir. A little bit more butter. If you reach a point on this that the butter isn't really melting anymore from the carryover heat, then just turn your heat back on a real low simmer, and you can just bring the pan over just for a second, just to get it to kind of start to warm up again, and then bring it back over. You don't want to let this get too hot again because you want it to stay an emulsified sauce. I've also got a saute pan here that I've started to preheat. That's what we're going to cook our shrimp in. I'm getting that nice and preheated, nice and warm. All right, so the sauce is pretty much done. I'm going to set it back here just to keep it warm but not hot. We're going to check our pan for the shrimp, make sure that it's preheated well. And I'm just adding just a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to use those Gulf shrimp that we talked about earlier. I bought these shrimp whole, and then we just cleaned them, we peeled them and deveined them. Just a touch of seasoning. Pull our grits forward here. And we're going to finish the grits with a little bit of heavy cream, Romano cheese, and Tillamook cheddar cheese, as well as just a little bit of butter. Let those shrimp do their thing, get nice and happy. Romano cheese going into the grits. And some cheddar cheese. Let that simmer just for a minute or two, bring all the flavor together, make sure that cheese is really incorporated, melted all the way. Adjust the seasoning just a little bit. Then these shrimp I'm going to just deglaze with the same Chardonnay that we used making the butter sauce. Those are done, so we're just going to take them off the heat and just let those rest. Get a few things out of the way here. All right, so the grits, I don't know if you can tell at this angle or not, but they've really tightened up. They're nice and creamy now. So pretty much all the components are done. Now we're just gonna pull this all together on the plate. I'm gonna start by taking some of our grits, just laying down a nice bed. Take our shrimp. Just kind of lay those there. A little bit of that caper butter sauce that we made. Just a nice little drizzle. Then earlier we showed you the cholla buds. We've pickled these. I just took equal parts of sugar and vinegar, and I put a couple bay leaves, a little bit of cumin and oregano, and just let them pickle for about 6 hours. Prior to pickling them, we reconstituted them. We put them in water, bay leaves, lemons, onion, and they simmered for about 90 minutes until they were fully reconstituted. Then, like I said, once we made the pickling solution, I let them sit for about 6 hours total, okay? So now we're just gonna take a couple of these cholla buds. And then we're just garnishing it with some nice little pea shoots. And then final step, we're putting a little bit of barrel cactus seeds. We got these from Kelly Athena from, she calls herself the Cactus Lady. And she's on all of the local media and Instagram and all of those. And so we thank her for her amazing ingredients as well and taking the time to go out and forage them for me. So this is the final dish. Shrimp and grits using Ramona Farms Pima grits.